Hello everyone. I'm Chu Xiong from University of South Carolina, and today I will present our work, G2Auth, secure mutual authentication for joint delivery without special user-side hardware. This is a joint work with Dr. Li, Dr. Luo, and my advisor, Dr. Zeng. Joint delivery is drawing enormous attention due to its cost effectiveness and convenience. The market is projected to grow to $29 billion by 2027. Why is joint delivery authentication needed? The incoming popularity makes joint delivery an attractive attack target. In the case of joint-based courier services, where a joint collects a package from the sender and delivers it to a designated receiver, attackers may launch at least two kinds of impersonation attacks. One is delivery time is impersonation. An attacker impersonates a legitimate user, and the other is pickup time impersonation. An attacker controls a malicious joint to impersonate a delivery joint to steal the package. There are many authentications methods and many scenarios that require authentication. What makes joint delivery authentication unique? It requires no human joint physical contact, as delivery joints are expensive and may carry important packages. To prevent an attacker from capturing a joint, the joint should be kept a safe distance from users until authentication is done. Many conventional authentication approaches, such as scanning fingerprints, do not work. Why not use Bluetooth for authentication? For example, short-range Bluetooth signals can be used to prove proximity. However, it is vulnerable to radio relay attacks where encrypted radio signals can be relayed. A user places a delivery order with her smartphone S, and the courier service company dispatches the delivery joint denoted as D to fulfill the order. Then an attacker can control a malicious joint denoted as D prime to fly to the destination of S and mislead the legitimate joint D to the destination near the attacker controlled device S prime. So when once receiving the Bluetooth signal sent from S, D prime relayed the Bluetooth signal to S prime without knowing the key, and S prime deceives D with the relayed signal. In this case, D will think S prime as S, and S thinks D prime as D. Some may also wonder why not having the joint scan a QR code showing on the user's smartphone. The reason is that QR code-based authentication is also vulnerable to vision relay attacks, as the QR code can also be relayed, similar to radio relay attacks. D prime scans the QR code showing on S and relays the content to S prime, and then S prime shows the QR code to D. In this case, D also thinks S prime as S, and S thinks D prime as D. So joint delivery authentication requires no human joint contact and resilience to attacks by nature. We found it desirable to have the following goals for large deployment: no special user-side hardware, mutual authentication, and no compatibility issues. We examined the existing approaches that do not require human-joint physical contact, but none of them meet all the goals. We proposed G2Auth, G2Auth for short. A user who holds a smartphone waves her hand to conduct authentication. It is based on the simple yet solid fact that is the IMU data collected by the smartphone during waving should correlate with the video data collected by the joint recording the waving operations. Why is G2Auth resilient to attacks? It is because the IMU and the video data are not correlated under attacks. As long as the waving of S prime is not the same as S, the video data collected by D will not correlate with the IMU data generated by S, so the attack cannot success. An adaptive attacker who knows how G2Auth works may try to mimic the legitimate user's hand waving, which we call mimicry attacks. However, as human reaction time is larger than 200 microseconds and it is hard to keep it consistent, it is not difficult for G2Auth to detect such attacks. To deliver an accurate and robust solution for joint delivery, the following challenges have to be resolved. First, different people may wave in different styles, causing very different data. Second, it is desirable that joint delivery can be conducted both day and night. When the light level is limited, detecting a small object and keeping tracking of it is still not well studied in the computer vision area. Third, the data from IMUs and videos are heterogeneous and cannot be compared directly. Finally, a determined attacker may practice to mimic a victim user. To study the robustness of the correlation with different waving styles, we perform correlation study. So we examine different postures of the held smartphone, like this way, and this way, and different waving trajectories of the smartphone from the left to right, diagonal, and up and down. We found that regardless of the posture of the held smartphone and its trajectory, along at least one of the three axes of the smartphone's coordinate system, the IMU generated acceleration data will correlate with the video generated acceleration data. To obtain the trajectories of the smartphone, we tried various state-of-the-art object tracking methods, but they all failed frequently. It is because the colors of the clothes of the clothes and the environment may be similar to that of the smartphone. So we propose a two-step solution. We perform person detection and we also keep the flashlight on during waving. At daytime, it is necessary to perform person detection as there may exist many small bright objects. And person detection helps us narrow down our search within the bounding box. At nighttime, person detection is not necessary as the flashlight distinguishes itself from the surroundings. The IMU data and the video data may fluctuate and contain noises, so we perform data pre-processing to filter out noises and smooth the data. After that, we extract peaks and valleys from the acceleration data. To measure the concurrence and the consistency of the two data, we calculated the Pearson correlation coefficients, and from the time-step sequences, we extract features such as the time-step differences and their standard deviation. After getting the features, we train a machine learning model to determine whether the two acceleration data are correlated or not. A determined attacker may practice to mimic a victim user. Defeating such trained mimicry attacks is a challenge. We propose a usable countermeasure by having the users intentionally add random pauses when changing their waving direction. The attack success rate decreases from 26% to 4% by requiring at least one pauses, and we also find that it becomes 0 when the number of pauses increases to 3. We evaluated our system in terms of accuracy, resilience to mimicry attacks, impact of important parameters, efficiency, and usability. We collected and built 2 data sets, one for evaluating accuracy and one for resilience to mimicry attacks. The ROC curves in our experiment shows that it achieves high AUC values and low EER values for both operations with and without pauses. Please refer to our paper for more details about evaluation. In conclusion, authentication of drones and users in the emerging drone delivery systems is very important, but let's study the problem. We propose the first mutual authentication technique for drone delivery without special user-side hardware. We overcome multiple challenges, and such as diverse waving styles, heterogeneous noisy data, and nighttime delivery, and built an accurate and robust solution. We envision that G2Auth will accelerate the deployment of drone delivery and benefit numerous users. That's all. Thank you for listening. Thank you.